What is going on, members of the Main Event Mafia? Of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr., bringing you another update here on the channel. Recently, we've had some big news about TNA Wrestling and WWE forming a formal partnership between the two, something that's very reminiscent of the time that ECW back in the 90s had an informal partnership with the WWF. And a lot of news and recognition has been coming out of this new revelation in the world of pro wrestling because the WWE really isn't accustomed to being, friendly with other promotions. We've always seen them kind of as this big corporation trying to distance themselves from the other's competition. But we saw hints of this during last year when TNA and WWE had a crossover there when NXT superstars and TNA superstars began crossing the line and crossing paths. But I think among the many stars that we saw in between TNA and WWE, there were a couple there that we were very sure would end up jumping ship once their contract came to a close. Of course, one of those premier athletes and stars in total nonstop action, I would be referring to the juggernaut Jordynne Grace, former three-time Knockouts champion, a former tag team champion, and even a former digital media champion over at TNA. We saw a lot of crossover where she had a great matchup against Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship, and even a special appearance during a 10-women tag team match on the ECW version of NXT emanating from Philadelphia. I look at someone like a Jordynne Grace, and she has all the potential in the world. For those who are unfamiliar with their juggernaut, she has been spending the last, several years, ever since 2018, she has been with Total Nonstop Action, having matches against the likes of, most recently, Tessa Blanchard, Masha Slamovich, and even other feuds against Mickie James and Trinity, now known as Naomi, in the WWE. A lot of people look at her and they kind of compare her to the likes of a Chyna, where they have the star potential. They certainly have the look and they have the strength to compete with many of the men even. So the real question here is not when is Jordynne Grace going to arrive in the WWE, but how. And I'm thinking right now, you saw the reports, and the reason why we're doing this update here is because it was just announced that Jordynne Grace has officially signed a multi-year deal with the WWE. I'm thinking she's making her appearance at the Royal Rumble. After making an appearance at last year's Royal Rumble, I would find it very difficult to believe that she wouldn't be making back-to-back appearances. Now, I think we're going to get a much more of an impressive showing from Jordynne Grace, being that she's now signed to the WWE, and you don't have to worry about that liability of her having to go back to TNA. But I think for me personally, the question is, are we going to see her in NXT? Or are we going to see her on the main roster? Because if you ask me, in NXT, there's already that sense of familiarity. She's already, been accustomed to the crowd, been accustomed to the arena, and even the other women on the roster. So I think it would be a seamless fit for her to just go ahead and visit Florida and become a full-time member of the NXT roster. But many people would argue that she is main roster ready. I think the best route to go, though, is probably NXT. Ease her into the WWE universe, allow her to adapt to the WWE style, very much how we see Zarya, Stephanie Vaquer, and Julia do, and already add to a stacked women's roster. In due time, she will make her jump to the main roster, having matches against the likes of Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. But this is a huge get for the WWE. Again, if you haven't seen some of her matches, go ahead and look on YouTube. You can find some of her matches for free. Jordynne Grace is the future of the women's roster and will soon be a major player in the WWE. I just want to say a quick thank you to all you guys and the members of the Main Event Mafia who continue to support the channel and support the membership here on YouTube, because without you guys, this wouldn't be as fun as it has already been. You guys are my motivation and my inspiration to continue pushing forward the best content that I can come up with. And I have a lot of things in store for you here in terms of the memberships, in terms of the Main Event Mafia, because we want to make sure that it is a unique experience for all you diehards out there who are just as invested as we are over here in the J area. Of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. Thank you for joining me on this short little update regarding Jordynne Grace, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great week ahead as well.